We must pay homage to him.
Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Deffinition, and this is the channel where we explain it so you don't have to. Chucky once again gets lucky with a big reboot of the franchise starring Aubrey Plaza and Mark Hamill. The doll now has some killer new features, and throughout this video I'll be breaking down everything that you need to know about the movie and its ending. This is full spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen the film yet and don't want anything ruined, then I highly suggest that you turn off now. With that out the way, I just want to give a huge thank you for clicking this video. I hope you enjoy it. Now sit back, relax, and let's get into my breakdown of the Child's Play remake. Child's Play, similar to all of the other movies in the franchise, follows an evil doll named Chucky that decides to go on a killing spree. However, unlike the other films in the series, there's no voodoo possession, and instead the character is now from a high-tech toy range named Buddi. Buddi, created by the Kaslan Corporation, comes with a whole new host of skills that basically makes it one of the most, if not the most, sought after toy in the world. It's able to interact with other Kaslan products, and whilst the majority of them aren't going around trying to kill their owners, Chucky has been given, let's say, some special privileges that allow him to act on his own. This is because a disgruntled worker who was employed at the business where they make the doll decides to one day mess around with the settings of one of the buddies after he feels mistreated and undervalued. The worker removes all of the language and action inhibitors, and this means that the doll can now do what it wants. Basically, everything good about Buddi and the worker goes out the window. Now, since this new direction was announced, there's been a lot of outcry from fans. However, I actually think this new, modern take on the character works a lot better in today's world. Everyone with an Alexa can relate to this, and it'll probably keep me up at night as I'm reminded of all the times I've told her to shut up. Basically, if you've seen Small Soldiers, you get the gist of it. The toys are back in town, and I don't mean Woody and Buzz, and this guy is on a quest to be Andy's best friend. Unlike the original film, Chucky isn't actually out to kill Andy, and in the movie he just wants to be his friend and is even willing to murder those around him that Andy doesn't like. We're going to have to change the phrase from curiosity to Chucky killed the cat, because this doll doesn't stop when it comes to trying to be Andy's best friend, and yet there's just some awesome kills in the film. Now, early on, because of this, I was pretty hooked on the movie. I was expecting it to be a big disaster, but they slowly build up the tension, making Chucky get more and more sinister as the plot of the film goes on. Chucky to me in this version is sort of a representation of the world around him, and as he witnesses more violent things, he ultimately becomes more violent too. It's definitely a smart take on the doll, as it shows that this is what our kids could turn into if we don't put rules in place or make sure that they have a quote unquote filter, and yeah, stop playing Fortnite all the time. Your eyes will go square. Anyway, the way that Chucky also operates the other Kaslan products during his killing spree showcases perhaps that we probably have become too reliant on technology and that it will ultimately become our downfall, though yeah, I'm not sure whether I'm going too deep on that, but you know, it's got a nice sort of thing against stocking out your house with nothing but Amazon products. It has to be said though that Mark Hamill absolutely smashes it, and as we head into the final act, whilst it was pretty predictable, Hamill's dynamism kept the entire thing fresh and unnerving throughout the whole movie. There's a scene where he presents someone's face to the characters that is very bloody, and it just kind of shows that this doll is not to be played with. He goes on a huge murder spree, and at some points Andy is believed to be the killer, though this is quickly unearthed by Detective Mike Norris after he discovers that the doll can do what it does. After Mike is almost fatally injured by Chucky, the rogue toy takes Andy and Karen hostage and tries to kill the latter by hanging her from a forklift. Andy manages to save his mother, and with the help of Mike they decapitate the doll, seemingly killing it. Now, there were rumours that Chucky would survive this film, however it's pretty clear that at least this version of the doll gets completely smashed up by the film's end, and yeah, there's no chance of him coming back. However, we do see many defective dolls in the third act that showcase that perhaps Chucky isn't as dead as the doll is. Whilst Kaslan Industries issues a recall, we can see that there are definitely malfunctioning dolls, and if a sequel was to happen, then I think it would be one of these that would act as a new host for the rogue AI to return to get revenge on Andy after his bitter rejection. The fact that Chucky can also operate other Kaslan products means that he could have a worldwide reach, and if the sequel ups the budget, then the doll could hold the world hostage due to our reliance on technology. Either that or Skynet will develop their own dolls, and yet we all know how that turns out. So what did I think of the film overall? Well, as you can probably guess from my tone, I really enjoyed it. Child's Play has always been pretty hit and miss for me, but I think it's safe to say after one watch that I actually prefer this over the original film. It works far better in a modern setting, and I feel all of the updates that everyone complained about are actually necessary in order to breathe some new life into the franchise. June's been a pretty bad month for movies so far, with only Toy Story being a standout, but this is a pretty close second. It's not going to blow anyone away, but it's an enjoyable watch from beginning to end, and it feels like the studio are taking good care of the property. Overall, I had a lot of fun with Child's Play. I'm interested to see what happens down the line, and I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I am interested to see if my rating changes after rewatches, and I know what to expect, but coming right out of the cinema, this is a fun ride. Obviously, I'd love to hear your take on the movie, and if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up, and make sure that you check out my breakdown of all the behind the scenes drama involved with the remake, which will be linked at the end. I've also done a breakdown of this week's other big release, Toy Story, so if you want to see some toy figures fighting it out that's a bit more family friendly, make sure you click that video after this. This is a channel for people who are mad into movies, so if that's the kind of thing you like, hit subscribe. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this. I've been Deffinition, you've been the best, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.